Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the new lunar event, Lunar Revelry. We will covering the new mods, Lunar Whispers, the Lunar Chests, how you can get the new Deviants, and the Lord of the Moonlight. I hope you enjoyed this video. The first thing that we need to talk about is when Lunar starts. Lunar event will start from 7 PM in game time and ends at 7 AM. This is 30 minutes in real time. When the lunar starts, you will lose 80% of your sanity, and most of the foods that recover your sanity, they will be ineffective. And even if you recover your sanity, you will lose it after a few seconds. Whenever you kill an enemy, it will recover your sanity, and all the monsters, they will be stronger and they will be much more aggressive. Whenever you kill a monster, it will drop you Lunar Whispers. Lunar Whispers are very essential for opening the Lunar Chests that gives you mod, deviations, and resources. You can also make foods, make ammo with this Lunar Whisper, and some other items for the Lunar event. If you try to farm for material in the map during Lunar, there will be 3 waves of monsters that attacks you. Each wave will have 6 monsters, and the last wave will have an elite. The monsters and the elite, they will drop the normal loot, and they will also drop whispers. There are 2 important items that you need to always carry with yourself. The first one is Lunacy Suppressant. This item will cure lunacy from yourself and removes the lunar event from you, and it will recover your HP and your sanity to 100%. You need to use this one during lunar if you don't want to have the lunar effects on yourself. And the next item is much more important. The name is Lunacy Stimulant. Whenever you use this activator, you will basically get the Lunar Oracle event. If you die and you black out, your lunar effects will be gone and you cannot continue the event even if you die in like the first 5 minutes. For the next 25 minutes, you don't have lunar effect. In order to get lunar effect again, you need to use this activator. This one is very important, and there are chances that you will black out in the map and you cannot continue farming. By using this activator during lunar, you will get the Lunar Oracle effect again. During lunar, if you have Lunar Whispers in your backpack and your sanity is dropping, you will get a stack called Lunar Gaze, and there is a message that tells you Lord of Moonlight is watching you. Whenever that stack reaches 10, the Lord of Moonlight will steal half of your Lunar Whispers up to 500, and it will mimic your appearance as well. You need to go to a location to kill that Lord of Moonlight on the map to take back your Lunar Whispers an additional amount. Also, you will get a chest for Lunar Suffix or Crescent Suffix mods and a deviation by random. For encountering the Lord of Moonlight, you need to make sure that your sanity is dropping. You should not use any food or any drink that prevents your sanity from dropping, like wheat ale or corn ale. The Lord of Moonlight will only mimic your appearance, not your build, your gun, or your armors. They will use tactical items like grenade and molotovs. They use drones, and whenever you kill them once, they will use an adrenaline, and you need to kill them again. The Lord of Moonlight have level 50, level 60, and level 70. The level 70 considers a great one, and for opening the chest you need 150 Lunar Whispers. But for level 50 and 60, they consider as elite enemies, and you need 125 Lunar Whispers in order to open the chest. The box of Lord of Moonlight contains legendary gun, animal skin, lunar essence, and a box that gives you Lunar Suffix mods or Crescent Suffix mods by your choice. And there's a chance that you can get the new Lunar Deviants. The new Deviants are Electric Eel, Atomic Snail, and Zapcam. You can only get these deviants from the Lord of Moonlight. During Lunar, in every settlement, there are few chests that you can open with Lunar Whispers. They are guarded by elite enemies. The price of these chests will scale from the location. So if you go into the Black Bear, for example, the chests are either 50, 75 or 120. The 50 chest will give you a blue mod box, and the chance of you getting a deviant is from level 2 to 3 or even 4. But if you open the 75 ones, they will give you a better deviation from the range of 3 to 5 deviation and a purple box. And if you open the 120 ones, they will give you a legendary box, and it will contain a level 4 or 5 deviations. There are some elite enemies that they guarding the chests in the settlements. They will mimic the appearance of the players in the server. They are called Lunar Spawns. These Lunar Spawns will drop a deviation level 4 or level 5, and they will give you mod boxes, epic or legendary. These enemies are very tanky and very powerful. You need to be careful around them. They considered as elite enemies, and they are the best way to farm the best deviation in this event. About the lunar deviations, the past deviation or even the new ones, the combat ones, they have a trait here that they give you a percentage amount of damage. For example, the Zapcam gives us 5%, and this 5% will be 1.5% stronger if our sanity drops below 30%. What that means at this moment, if I just have this if I don't have the deviation, my stat is going to be 0%. If I have the deviation with myself, my weapon damage goes up to 5%. And if I drop my sanity, right now I'm on 0% sanity, and if we check our stat, we'll have 7.5%. This is the highest that this deviation can give you. And for the elemental ones, they are going to be a status damage. Just like the Pyrodino, that is going to be a status damage as well. And if you have these ones in your backpack, you will get a status damage instead of weapon damage. Whenever you farm for the mods in the Lunar, you will basically get 3 chests. You will get the blue version, the purple, and you will get the golden ones. The blue ones you will get them from the 50 Whisper chests. You will get the purple ones from 75 or from Lunar Spawns, or even from the Lord of the Moonlight, and the golden ones as well from the Lord of Moonlight, from 120 chests, and from the Lunar Spawns. If we opened one of these ones, it will give you a choice between Crescent Suffix and Lunar Suffix. We will open one Crescent here, and we will open one Lunar here. So if we open this one, we will get a mod with Crescent Suffix. And this one, it will give us 2 mods for Lunar Suffix. Let's start by explaining the Lunar Suffix first. The Lunar Suffix can be on your helmet or your top, and they will provide you crit damage, elemental damage, weapon damage, and status damage. And the lower your HP, the higher these stats will go. And there are 2 fixed attributes here, crit damage and elemental. You can get only one of these 2 attributes in one mod. And the linked attributes are going to be weapon damage and status damage. And there's a general attribute that gives you damage reduction against deviants if your HP going down. So this basically these stats, they will provide you a little bit of a stat if you're full HP, and it will go down. It will give you more stat if your HP goes down. And you cannot get crit damage with elemental. You can only get one of these 2. So one fixed attribute, one linked attribute, and a general attribute. For example, if you get crit damage, you can only get weapon damage and a status damage next. You cannot get elemental. And compared to, for example, violent, that is 15% crit damage, if you are at the legendary stat, the lunar suffix will give you 30%, the double amount of that, of the violent suffix. So they are much more valuable than the normal mods. For showing you, we are using One Piece Treacherous, that gives you damage reduction, and the mod on this one is going to be Momentum Up, that gives you crit damage and weapon damage at legendary stat. So we need to get 30% crit damage and 12% weapon damage. At this moment, if we don't have the gun in our hand, our stat is going to be 9% crit damage and 3.6% weapon damage. If we lowering our HP by 25%, for example, and without the gun in our hand, we will have 18% crit damage and 7.2% weapon damage. And if we continue doing this, at 50%, we will have 21% crit damage and 8.4% weapon damage. For you to get the maximum number of the stat, you need to reach lower than 30%. So basically, at this moment, we having 800 HP out of 2204, and we have 27% crit damage and 10.8% weapon damage. So we are a little bit above 30%. And if we go lower, right now we are 715 out of 2204 HP, and we still have the same stats. If we go lower, we will have 30% crit damage and 12% weapon damage. So we are lower than 30% at this moment. If you divide this number by this number, you will get lower than 30%, and we have the maximum number of the stats that the mod gives you. Next up is going to be Crescent mods. These mods are very new, and you can only get them in this lunar event. They can be on your helmet and on your gloves. As you can see here, these mods will give you a base amount of stats and extra amount based on your shield. And for example, here, 4% weapon damage and an extra amount of 6% based on your shield. You will get 6% extra if you have at least 40% shield. So it doesn't really matters if you reach 40%, it will still gives you some stats, depends on your shield. So the maximum number to get this stat is 40%, but still it gives you some stats if you have 30% shield, 25% shield. So this one have two fixed attributes, weapon damage and a status damage, just like lunar mods. And if you get any of these fixed attributes, you have to get one of these two linked attributes. So if you get weapon damage, you are guaranteed to get a crit damage or elemental. You cannot get weapon with the status. And to demonstrating this one, we are going to use One Piece Treacherous that gives you damage reduction, and a Crescent mod that gives us 3.2% weapon damage and 6% crit damage. If we check our stat, we will have 6% crit damage and 3.2% bonus weapon damage. And the extra amount is going to be 4.8% for weapon damage and 9% for crit damage. I'm not going to reach at 40% shield. We are just going to use this Cradle Deviant energy defense, that whenever you're using your Deviant, you will get 30% shield. If I activate my Deviant at this moment, I will get 30% shield. And if we check our stat, as you can see, the crit damage goes up to 12.3% and the weapon damage is 6.6%. So that means in order to get the extra amount, you don't really need to reach 40% shield. You just need to get some amount of shield, and the maximum number, just like Lunar, that was 30% HP, this one is 40% shield for getting the max extra amount of stats. In overall comparison between Lunar Suffix and Crescent Suffix, in my opinion, Lunar is much more valuable and much better, since it gives you much more damage compared to Crescent. If we compare them at this moment, for example, for Elemental, that is 16% double the amount of the Talent Suffix, the Crescent Suffix will only give you 5% and 8% if you get 40% shield. So at maximum, you will only get 13% of elemental damage. You will losing 3% elemental compared to Lunar. So I think you need to go at steal your helmet and your top for Lunar, and for your gloves you can go for Crescent in order to get more stats than Talent Suffix, Precision Suffix, or even Violence Suffix. That's it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. I will make a video about the best pathing for farming Lunar Chests and deviations and the mods. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you all in the next one.